So a lot of you have probably seen ads for or heard about bone conduction headphones at some point, but what even are bone conduction headphones? Well, I found out. Hi, welcome to my channel where I talk about things that interest me because that's all I do all the time. So I first started seeing people talking about bone conduction as a means of listening to music back in 2006 when the Tooth Tunes commercial started airing. If you don't remember what a Tooth Tunes toothbrush is, it was basically a toothbrush that played a 2-minute clip of a song into your teeth while you were brushing them. I didn't have a Tooth Tunes, so I never actually thought about how it worked, but recently this technology has become more popular in the commercial sphere. So the way this works according to Wikipedia is that all sound vibrates through bone, but it's hard to distinguish which sounds are coming through your skull and which ones are coming through your ear canal. Since your ears don't have to read the airwaves coming into your ear canal to process sound that's conducted through your skull, this can be used as a type of workaround for different types of hearing impairment. This is a common technique used to create hearing aids. This is apparently how the Google Glass speakers worked, but not how the Bose frame speakers work, which is surprising to me because I've tried the Bose frames before and they sounded great to me. I don't know how they keep them so quiet to other people without using Bose conduction. Bone conduction. This is also a factor in why you hear your voice so differently IRL versus on camera, because you're getting some bone conducted sound in the mix too when you're speaking in real life, which boosts the low frequencies. One of the interesting things about bone conduction headphones that you don't see with regular headphones and earbuds is that your ear canal is completely unobstructed, meaning you can hear everything from the outside perfectly normally. So I was curious on how these work and what they actually sounded like, so I bought a pair. This is the Tayogo S2, a pair of true wireless bone conduction earphones, which is kind of misleading because technically true wireless means that both earbuds are independent of each other, but whatever, it was 35 bucks. The first thing you might notice about them is that they're weirdly shaped, and that's because they're supposed to go around your ears instead of into them. These little pads here set directly on your temples, while these little bands go over your ears. The band in the back here doesn't actually rest against your head, and those little boxes on the side here aren't part of the conduction system, they're just housing circuitry and batteries. So I've had them for a few weeks now, and I've got to say, they're not that bad. Now the point of this video is not to review these earphones, it's just to talk about bone conduction earphones in general, but since this is my only contact with the technology, it's going to come off a little bit like a review. So initially I had really high hopes for these earbuds. I thought they were going to sound approximately like regular $35 wireless earbuds, and they're just as bad, just in different areas. The thing is, the sound quality itself isn't what I take issue with here, which is really surprising. These being bone conduction earphones, the low frequencies come through a lot stronger than the high ones, and so I think, and this is just completely speculation, I think that they've done some sort of like high shelf filter to make it a little bit more balanced. This gives the higher frequencies a little less space to move around in the mix. It's like they've got some sort of drive on them, you know? They're a little spicier in a bad way. So here's the before and after of a song that I've edited to kind of approximate the sound of the S2s, and of course, this is going to sound different depending on what you're listening to it on, but if you're familiar enough with your current earbuds or headphones, you should be able to tell the difference. So as you can hear, they're not that bad. The detail is better than what you would expect, and the artifacting doesn't really come in at high volumes like you would expect from a $35 pair of wireless headphones. The only issue is, when you get really loud, it starts to actually vibrate on your head so powerfully that you can feel it, like you can feel the vibration through your skull. I didn't like it, it's bad. The biggest question you might be asking yourself though is, do they still work when you completely close off your ears? And as you'd expect, yes, they do. In fact, I'd actually say I prefer the audio experience this way because you get rid of all that bleed that's coming into the air, and you can tell the difference between what's coming through your skull and what's coming through the air, because a lot of it is coming through the air. If you've got the earbuds right up next to your ear while you got the music going, you can still hear it coming through the air even if it's not touching your head. It's just a little bit quieter than you'd expect. It's just not that bad. So if you close your ears off and you press the transducers against your temple to get sort of like a seal, you get way more detail on the highs and mids. And you also hear the kick stud super strong too without actually shaking your head or covering up the rest of the mix somehow. The only downside of this sort of listening with your ears all covered up, aside from having to actually use both of your hands to listen to your music, is that there's this weird universal reverb that might be because the sound is bouncing around in your skull, which I don't even want to think about. Another thing that people are talking about in regards to bone conduction headphones is, can I get hearing damage while listening with bone conduction headphones? And yes, you absolutely can. This is not a workaround for listening to loud music, sadly. You still have to monitor your volume like you would with any other headphones. Whether or not you've got your ears covered though, there is this serious issue with the mix that I think ruins it for me, and I'm assuming this is universal and not just an issue with these particular earphones. When you listen to bass heavy music, it sounds like the sub bass is there, but the regular bass, like the 1 to 200 hertz kind of area, is completely missing.
Welcome Welcome to Oblivion.
Now, this might be because of the EQing that these earbuds are doing. Maybe the high shelf they've got is cut off above this frequency, so they're not boosting this bass frequency between 1 and 200 hertz from the conduction method or from the EQ, but I highly doubt it. I don't know exactly what's causing this, but it completely ruined the experience with these headphones for me. So, in conclusion, bone conduction headphones are very cool, but they're not worth your time if you're not hearing impaired. Assuming the logic stays the same as you get into the higher end of these types of products, you can just get normal wireless earbuds for way better quality at the same price. So if you don't have an actual reason to buy bone conduction headphones, don't. I thought this was going to be a cooler experience, but it's just a pair of headphones. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Hope you learned something from this video. Thanks for watching. This is going to be a terrible video. This is literally not going to be a good video.